Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing 7 reasons why SST gearboxes go wrong and how you can prevent them. The SST gearbox, or the dual clutch version of the Evo 10, it's got a bit of a reputation for being unreliable, not being able to hold good power, being difficult to build, difficult to maintain, expensive to run. But I thought we could go through 7 things that are going to basically cause damage to the gearbox, and they're probably things that you might even be doing without realizing it. Now then, reason number 1, incorrect service intervals. Now I'd like to think that anyone with a performance car is going to have mechanical sympathy. They're going to regularly service the vehicle, keep on top of their services, change the fluids regularly, by the book. But unfortunately, on the Evo 10 SST, even going by the factory service intervals, that's not going to be good enough. And this is where basically Jeremy Clarkson has caused some issues for us Evo owners. In the Evo 9, they had it on top here. They said it was absolutely amazing. The handling was at the level of a Lamborghini. It was supercar stuff for working class people. And the review was absolutely amazing, and Mitsubishi loved it. But what they didn't like was the criticisms that came afterwards. Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, they said that you'd be an idiot to buy an Evo 9, too expensive to run, too expensive to service, and you've got to service it more than you've got to put petrol in it. Now, obviously, that's not the case, but Mitsubishi thought they want to get a perfect review next time around. So Mitsubishi UK took it upon themselves to actually change the service interval. They changed the SST gearbox interval from 18,000 miles. Actually, the first 5,000 mile it needs an oil change, then 18,000 miles thereafter. They took it upon themselves to actually change that, and in this service book here, it actually says 75,000 miles is when the first oil change is required. So just to back up that point, this car was sold as full service history. Technically, it is full service history. The engine's been serviced every 10,000 miles without fail. And the gearbox, looking through all the receipts, all the service records, has never had an SST oil change in 12 years. Now the second reason that you might be damaging your gearbox without realizing, and this has been backed up by numerous people in the clubs, is wrong fluid. Now if you've only ever owned manual gearboxes like myself, then you probably just stick the right viscosity oil in and call it a day. Well, unfortunately, these dual clutch gearboxes are so sensitive. They've got pressure sensors, mechatronic units, solenoids, they've got wet clutches, and the oil has to be absolutely perfect. It has to be the specific oil that gearbox was designed for. It can't just be a dual clutch oil, not on this car anyway. It's got to be a specific oil. Now another thing that also contributes to this wrong fluid problem is the fact that Mitsubishi charge about £450 for 2 gallons of oil. Diet Queen, Diet Queen Transmax or something like that. So yeah, basically the extortionate prices they charge, the wrong service intervals, you can almost guarantee that these gearboxes are probably not getting the right fluid if you just go into a garage and not an Evo specialist. Now I'll save you all the time, I'll save you all the research. If you want to do your gearbox as cheap as possible and reliable prices that are repeatable, not just someone giving you deals on the day, go to OP Oils, use a 10% discount code, there's loads online, and order yourself 8 litres of Castrol Transmax Dual. I only actually put 7 in, I have serviced it, the video will be coming up after this. So yeah, that's what you've got to do, Transmax Dual, and don't skimp out on the fluid because it will cost you, and it has cost a lot of people a lot of money. Now then, as your gearbox wears over time, the clutch is going to get thinner, and obviously the bite point is going to adjust. The shift forks, they're going to need calibrating, And just using your car for 12 years, a complicated computerized gearbox like that, without a Gearbox Re-Teach, it's not helping anything. So what people have realized over time is it's a good idea to every year do a Gearbox Re-Teach. Now I've got a video showing you how to do that, so go and watch that if you want to reteach your gearbox. And it makes a massive difference actually. I had warning lights. This car wouldn't go into park, it wouldn't go into neutral. It would sometimes lose drive, but the Gearbox Re-Teach has fixed it and it's been perfect ever since. Now then, reason number 4 why your gearbox could potentially blow up and how you can prevent it. Now, looking down here, under the number plate, in that hole there is an SST oil cooler. Now, unlike manual gearboxes, SST gearboxes actually get quite hot because they're computerized and there's a lot of things going on in there. So it's important to keep the temperature cool. If it gets too hot, you're gonna basically overheat the computers inside, the circuit boards, mechatronics, solenoids, and you don't really want them getting hotter than they have to be, and also the clutch discs as well. So it's always a good idea to take the bumper off or take off the trays on the rear and give the cooler a jet wash, because it does get blocked over time. Number 5, running the gearbox in auto mode and doing performance driving in auto mode. Well, you don't really want to be doing that. Reason for that, it's not an automatic, it's a dual clutch. And dual clutches have clutches in them, obviously, and they're not designed to slip for too long. It's not like a CVT gearbox, it's a dual clutch. So unless you're actually in traffic or you just pop into the shops, it is recommended to run the car in SuperSport manual. And what that will do is it will basically minimize the amount of slipping on the clutches, and the gear shift will be a little bit more aggressive, but I find the car drives nicer anyway, and you're going to preserve the life of the box. Reason number 6, how you could be potentially killing your car: using launch control too much. Now, there's nothing wrong with using launch control every now and then, but these dual clutch gearboxes, or any dual clutch gearbox, any 4-wheel drive car, especially Subaru, whatever it is, they don't like being launched. They're good at it, but because they've got so much grip, it puts a lot of stress on the gearbox. And while they can handle it, it's just asking for trouble. For something so expensive, you don't want to be wearing it out any faster than you have to. So try and minimize the amount of launches you do on your gearbox. And the final reason 7, and I'm going to swap I'm going to flip the camera around for this one. Okay, so we're at the front of the Evo, and have a look over here. What do you see? That's an atmospheric dump valve, and I'm guilty of this. I just love the turbo noises, but the gearbox actually calculates what gear it should be in and how much clutch bite partially on the MAF readings. And what this will actually do is it will skew the MAF readings, and it can confuse the gearbox, causing excessive slip and things of that nature. Now, usually the car's fine when I'm driving it, but if I'm absolutely pushing the car and I'm through the gears constantly, the dump valve's going psh, 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 then over time, it's almost like the gearbox slowly gets confused, and it can sometimes have a bit of a hesitation or a bit of a delay. So I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to put the factory one on, which actually came with the car. This was installed when I bought it, but I'm going to go back to the factory one. Now, you might be thinking, oh, it's okay, I've got an open dump valve, but my car's been mapped in the past. Well, that's good, but not every tuner actually maps the gearbox. Some of them just map the engine. So while the engine might be mapped to compensate for the fact that there's a atmospheric dump valve on there, the gearbox might not be remapped, and the gearbox might not know, because they actually got separate ECUs. So that's just something worth bearing in mind. I'm going to put the factory blow-off valve back on, and in the next video you'll see me doing a comprehensive service on this Evo gearbox. That's just the research I've picked up off the clubs, It seems to be general knowledge at the moment, these things I've spoken about, but it's quite surprising how many people don't actually do the things mentioned in this video. I'm guilty of it. I've launched it. I know that there's old fluid in it and I've got an open dump valve, so I'm putting it all back how it should be. The gearbox is fine at the moment. It's not actually damaged, but I don't really want to risk it, so yeah, listen to them rules and you should be good. Thanks for watching, and the next video I'll be putting some fresh oil and filters in the gearbox. Cheers.